Bctv local and African news summary for Tuesday, September 30th. The head of the National Public Health Institute of Liberia says Liberians in the diaspora should return home with their skills to help rebuild the country. Former leaders of the Press Union of Liberia are warning of unethical journalism, political manipulation of the media, and threats to Liberia's fragile peace. Interpol has arrested 260 suspects and seized over 1,200 electronic devices in a sweeping crackdown on cyber-enabled crime across 14 African countries. The National Public Health Institute of Liberia says Liberians in the diaspora should return home with their skills to help rebuild the country. Director General Dr. Dubwe Chris Inya made a call at the inaugural Liberia Annual Diaspora Conference in Washington, D.C., following President Joseph Boakai's keynote address. Dr. Inya acknowledged concerns that diaspora expertise has sometimes been undervalued, but urged Liberians abroad not to be discouraged, stressing the need for transparency, efficiency, and national growth. Liberia's Governance Commission has concluded a key meeting with an IMF delegation to support a nationwide governance assessment requested under Liberia's arrest agenda. The review aims to identify gaps and recommend reforms to boost fiscal management, transparency, institutional coordination, and anti-corruption efforts. According to officials, the IMF will build on an earlier scoping study with a strong focus on Pillar 4 of the National Development Framework, which centers on governance and institutional reform. Former leaders of the Press Union of Liberia are raising alarm over threats to press freedom and peace in the country as the union marks its 61st anniversary. In a statement, Isaac Bantu, Emmanuel Abalo, and Gabriel Williams warned of unethical journalism, political manipulation of the media, and rising hostility on social platforms that could destabilize Liberia's fragile peace. They also urged the PUL to account for a controversial $100,000 donation from ex-President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and called for stronger protections for journalists, accountability in government, and action against sexual violence. In more local development, the Liberia Electricity Corporation, the LEC, has launched a 12-week streetlight project along the ELWA-RIA highway. Beginning on September 29th and set for completion by mid-December, the initiative aims to improve safety and enhance the look of the key corridor leading to Liberia's international airport. 5 contractors are already at work with poles and materials shipped in. The LEC says the project will brighten the roadway for both international travelers and commuters, restoring vibrancy to the airport route just in time for the festive season. You're listening to the Bctv News Summary. Interpol, the world's largest police body, which links law enforcement worldwide and which is helping countries cooperate in fighting crime across borders, has arrested 260 suspects and seized over 1,200 electronic devices in a sweeping crackdown on cyber-enabled crime across 14 African countries. Dubbed Operation Contender 3.0, the July-August 2025 raids dismantled networks behind romance scams and sextortion schemes that defrauded nearly 1,500 victims of an estimated $2.8 million. Authorities in Ghana, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, and Angola reported major arrests and seizures, highlighting the growing threat of online fraud. Interpol says the success of the operation underscores the need for global cooperation to combat cybercrime. And finally, African professionals are making growing strides in the United States. H-1B visa program with Nigeria, Ghana, Egypt, Kenya, and South Africa leading approvals in 2024. But a new policy signed this month by U.S. President Donald Trump imposes a steep $100,000 fee on new H-1B petitions, a move aimed at curbing abuse and prioritizing U.S. hiring. The Business Insider website reports that while current visa holders are unaffected, analysts warn the change could slow African migration of engineers, scientists, and technical specialists, reshaping global talent flow into the United States. The weather forecast for Tuesday, September 30th in Riverses, southeastern Liberia. Showers in the morning, then scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. With lightning, high temperature near 85 degrees. There's a 40% chance of rain. The exchange rate is 180 Liberian dollars to one United States dollar. To summarize, the head of the National Public Health Institute of Liberia, Dr. Dube Chris Nya, says Liberians in the diaspora should return home with their skills to help rebuild the country. Former leaders of the Press Union of Liberia are warning of unethical journalism, political manipulation of the media, and threats to Liberia's fragile peace. And Interpol has arrested 260 suspects and seized over 1,200 electronic devices in a sweeping crackdown on cyber-enabled crime across 14 African countries. That's the Bctv news summary up to